Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video we're going to talk start collecting Warhammer 40,000, and today we're going to look at how to make an Aeldari force using just 3 box sets. Now in this video we're going to take a look at using the Aeldari Combat Patrol, the Aeldari Boarding Patrol, and a box of Warlocks to build a 1000 point Aeldari list. You will have a couple of models left over at the end of this as well, but this will give you a great start to moving the force onto 1500 points as well. Now, we're going to talk about all the models inside all 3 of these box sets briefly, look at how they sort of work on the tabletop, and indeed how some of the units can be built and put together, and then show you a little 1000 point army list at the end of the video to hopefully give you some inspiration for starting your own Aeldari force. And so, to begin with, we have a Farseer. This is an Aeldari Psychic. It can manifest 2 psychic powers in your psychic phases and deny 2 in your opponents. It'll get to choose 2 psychic powers from a couple of the different psychic laws, Runes of Fortune and Runes of Fate, from the Aeldari Codex. It never suffers from Perils of the Warp, has the ability Rune Armor, where it's got a 4-up invulnerable and a 6+ base save, and then you've also got the ability where with your Strands of Fate roll, for each Farseer that's on the table, you can re-roll one of those dice. This Strands of Fate is the army special rule that allows you to sort of use dice and gain these dice at the start of each battle round to sort of modify your dice rolls and push things in your favour. Now joining this model we then have 10 Guardians, which can be built as either Guardian Defenders or Storm Guardians. Guardian Defenders have the Shuriken Catapults. They can have a heavy weapon platform alongside them. They're the ones actually pictured here. And they've also got the Defenders rule where while this unit's in range of an objective marker, they can reroll hit rolls of 1. Storm Guardians, on the other hand, will drop the ability to take heavy weapon platforms, but can take up to 2 Flamers, 2 power weapons, and 2 of the other Aeldari fusion weapons, where they can just get, a bit more throughout their squad. Now they have a special weapon platform that instead turns into sort of a defensive shield called the Serpent Shield, gives the unit a 5-up invulnerable save against ranged attacks, and each time a ranged attack is made against them, 1s and 2s will always fail on the wound rolls. Storm Blades, each time this unit is making a melee attack against an enemy unit that's within range of an objective marker, they can reroll the hit rolls of 1, which is really cool. And then moving on, we have a fast attack choice, which is the Wind Rider jet bikes. Wind Riders are really fun. They've got some really cool speed to them. They're going to be nice and fast with that 16-inch move, and of course jet bikes. Now you can also choose each one of these jet bikes to be armed with a different weapon other than the twin Shuriken Catapult. You can upgrade to either Shuriken Cannons, which are heavy 3, strength 6, minus 1 AP damage to Shuriken weapons, or a Scatter Laser, heavy 6, strength 6, no AP damage 1. I like both these options. I don't think there's a wrong choice in them. Scatter Lasers with strength 6 and heavy 6 is really nice. Ride the Wind means your advance rolls are just always a 6 with this unit, and Swift Demise, each time a modernist unit makes an attack with a twin-link Shuriken Catapult against enemy units within range of any objectives, you can reroll hit rolls of 1. So that definitely gives the Shuriken Catapults a little bit of use as well. I think combining all of this together, you've got 3 good weapon options for the unit. And lastly, we have a Wraith Lord, a elite choice for the army. The Wraith Lord is a super powerful piece. First of all, 3-up save and the ability just to negate 1 point of damage with its Wraithbone form from each attack that comes into it. It can choose to either have its Wraithbone Fists, which are strength user, which would be strength 7, minus 3 AP damage 3, or it can choose to upgrade to a Ghost Glaive, which will have a nice big crushing strike at plus 2 strength, minus 4 AP damage D3 plus 3, or the Sweeping Blow, where it gets to double its attacks to 8, but goes down to strength user, minus 2 AP damage 2. You then can have 2 of your shoulder-mounted heavy weapons, which could be missile launchers, bright lancers, scatter lasers, shuriken cannons, or star cannons. And for each fist you have as well, you can also have a shuriken catapult or flamer attached to them, and this includes the fist that's holding the Wraith Sword. And so moving on, we then have the Aeldari Boarding Patrol box set. Now, this box set is led by Jane Zar. She is one of the many Phoenix Lords for the Aeldari, and she has the leadership of the Howling Banshees, who we also get inside this box set. We'll talk about them in a second. Now, her big thing is she's, first of all, got the acrobatic rule. Each time she's eligible to declare a charge in which she advanced, so she can run and charge. And each time an attack is made against this model, you just -1 to hit her. Storm of Silence is an aura where all Howling Banshee units within 6 inch add 2 to their leadership and gain objective secured as well. Her weapons, she's got Silent Death, which is the giant shuriken you can see there, or the traditional. This is Assault 6 at 12-inch, Strength 6, minus 3 AP, damage 1. And she's also got the Blade of Destruction, where she can have a piercing strike attack for plus 2 strength, minus 3 AP, damage 2. Or she doubles up her attacks at Strength User, Strength 4, minus 3 AP, damage 1. Other than that, she's got 6 wounds, 6 attacks, and a 2+. She's also a Phoenix Lord, so she's got a nice bunch of defensive abilities on there as well. Now, joining her, we have her Howling Banshees, which are her specific aspect warrior that she leads. Obviously, they gain objectives secured, which makes them really useful for us, but they have the Banshee Blades as their base weapon. Melee +1 strength, minus 4 AP, damage 1, so they'll be strength 4 in the combat, which is really cool. And then you can have a bunch of different weapons on your unit's Exarch, from the Mirror Swords, which will double up your attacks, or you can go something like the Executioner for plus 2 strength, minus 3 AP, damage 2 for a nice little bit of hard-hitting power. Howling Banshee Masks are really fun. They can stop enemy units being able to use Overwatch and set to defend when they charge, and while an enemy unit is within engagement range of said unit after they've made a charge, the enemy unit fights last as well. 5-up invulnerable save thanks to Aspect Armor, which is just a generic rule all Aspect Warriors will get. They've got Whirling Death, where each time this unit charges, they can add 1 to their wound rolls, and Acrobatics, same as Jane Czar. Lastly, we have 20 Corsairs. These can be built as either the Troops choice of Void Reavers or the Elite's choice of Void Scarred. Now, the Corsairs, Void Reavers, their big thing is, well, they're just your cheaper Corsairs. They can bring a nice variety of different weapons, especially for me, it is the Wraith Cannon, which is an Assault 1, Strength 10, minus 4 AP, damage D3 plus 3, with the ability each time this attack is wounds and rolls a 6, it'll inflict a mortal wound in addition to any other damage. Now, you've also got Reavers of the Void, where any hit roll over 6 automatically wounds the target as well. And Outcast and Pirates, if your army's not Battleforged though, there can't be any compulsory unit choices. Now, you've then got the Corsair Voice Guard, which have the same rule. If they're not in an army entirely of Corsairs, they can't be a compulsory choice, but they have a nice variety of special units to them. Now, the special models in here can include, first of all, the Shade Runner, which can have some cool rules, which helps you while this unit contains a Chained Runner, each time a unit finishes a charge move, you can select an enemy unit with engagement range and they'll potentially suffer some mortal wounds. You've got a Psychic in there as well with the Channeler Stone, so can bring in and help you ignore some damage, but also bring some psychic powers to your force as well. And so lastly, an additional box to grab on top of these to help us build the force, and you'll see why in the next slide. But this contains 2 Warlocks, which are really nice miniatures. There's a lot of customization. You can have Singing Spears and Witchblades on both these models. This just gives them a nice variety of different weapons. Singing Spears provide them with a decent-ish shooting attack. I've had that Singing Spear do some amazing things in games for me. But then you also get Psykers. These are your battle Psykers. They're generally a 1 cast. You can create units of them. If they are independent models, they become characters for your army. But in general, just a nice additional Psyker for your force that has access to the runes of battle. And so this is our sample army list here. So we've gone for playing as the Aeldari Craft World all the way in this force. This will give us the Foresight of the Damned ability, which is really fun to use. What this does is each time a unit with this attribute is selected to shoot or fight, you can reroll a single wound roll from those attacks. Each time a psychic test is taken for the first time for each unit in the psychic phase, they add 1 to the result. You've got models with this attribute having a 6-up invulnerable save, and each time a model with this attribute would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound, you roll a d6 and on 5+ the wound is not lost. Now, we've then got our Farseer, who's going to both be our Warlord and have our Relic. So first of all, Warlord Fate Reader means we can keep an additional dice from our Strands of Fate roll, and then the Relic, the Ghost Helm of Althair, will give us an extra spell from the Runes of Fortune, and each time a Psychic test is taken with the bearer, a modified roll of a 9+ means that Psychic power or Psychic action cannot be denied. This is pretty good for Psychic actions as well, casting them and stopping your opponent being able to stop them. Now we then got Jane Czar as well, and then we go into our troops. We've got a unit of Corsair Void Reavers, which will contain a Corsair Void Reaver Wraith Cannon, Blaster, and Void Scarred with Shredder. We've then got 6 of them with just the Shuriken Pistol and Aeldari Power Swords, before a Void Reaver Felarch as well. 10 Guardian Defenders with a Bright Lance will provide us with a nice backfield unit, and then we go into Elites, which are our compulsory choices required for the Arcs of Omen detachment. And this is why we've brought the Warlock in, because we've just got a single Warlock in there for a nice cheap and additional unit. We have the Wraith Lord with 2 Shuriken Catapults, Aeldari Missile Launcher, Bright Lance, Ghost Glaive on it, and the Howling Banshee unit where the Exarch will have Piercing Strikes and Executioner. Piercing Strikes being the Exarch power will give them a little bit of extra combat punch. Fast attack wise, we've got 6 Wind Riders. We've gone with Scatter Lasers on the whole unit. I think these guns are completely underrated. They can do a ton of damage. Strength 6, 6 shots each. You know, this unit is packing out some serious heat. If you've been playing with the Aeldari in Warhammer 40k, let us know how you've been going and what you would do with these box sets, and indeed if you would build them in a different way down in the comments below. And so, that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and why not consider joining our Patreon or YouTube members on the channel as well. You can find the link to both Patreon and YouTube members, and indeed our merch stores on Teespring and Ko-fi down in the video's description. As a special thank you to everyone for supporting us on Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowe, Outer Shot First, Andrew Bowen, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Nicholas Conomos, Colorblind Magic, Daniel Etherington, and Andy C. And to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, Davis Weir, James South, James Tillman, Dylan Areno, and Gargamel196. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for our channel, and indeed to everyone who helps come on and do battle reports, and to all the people who help run our Discord server. Thank you all once again, everyone, for watching. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.